For a long time, I was thinking of using townhouses and the new released mid-century pack. So in this episode, we will be expanding on our area and we'll be using mid-century pack as well as some of the downloaded assets from the Steam Workshop, which include townhouses. So in the beginning, I'll start off with the road layout. So as you can see, I'm using two-way, two-lane road without any parkings. And then I am using planning roads because I wasn't quite sure what the layout or the final layout was going to be. So I'm just at the moment drawing a brief or a rough layout of what I think it should be, but it might change. At the moment I'm using a Move It mod to just sort of adjust the height. This is sort of like a sloping terrain so the height basically keeps on decreasing, and that's what I need to consider when I'm placing my buildings as well as keeping the road layout. Moving on, the next step is to upgrade the roads. So at the moment I am using two-way roads without any parking because I plan to have parking lots around the area. I will start by zoning some high residential around the commercial pedestrian area. So in order to raise the land value around the area and also raise the entertainment, I'll be placing some parks and plaza. So at the moment I'm trying to get a two-lane narrow road, and I'll use Move It to place both the park as well as the plaza on one side of the road. For parking, I am using big parking lot assets, so I'll begin by placing a border road to basically create an outline of the parking lot. I will use upgrade tool to invert the roads so that the curbs are on the outside of the road. The next step is to use fillers to sort of form roads inside the parking lot. These needs to be 1 unit apart from each other. So for the last one, I am using Move It to create that space. And now the next step would be to create the actual parkings itself. So for the one closest to the entry, I'll be putting in some handicap parkings and then some normal slots. For those empty spaces, I'll be using the clip markers to get rid of those weird spots. And then the final step is to use a drive road to connect the parking to one of the roads you have. I definitely need to adjust the terrain or the height of these nodes. After some adjustments with Move It, they look fine now. Next, I'm using Find It to place some ploppable commercial buildings for the area. let's start the simulation and see how the buildings spawn. So I did zone some commercial. While we wait for the commercial buildings to spawn, I'll place another park and use move it to use the space better. Now it's time to place our townhouses. So I'll create a row of townhouses and use move it to basically copy it across the whole region. At the moment, I am trying to rotate them to face inwards so that they don't end up causing traffic along the main road. These townhouses will need some adjusting in terms of their height, and I will probably align them to the road height using move it. Let's move to the inner rows of the area. So here I am planning to have the townhouses and have 3 rows of them. So I will be using move it to move them closer to each other so that they basically end up being wall to wall. And then once I have created one row, I'll be hopping them across 3 different rows. Now that one side is done, I'll use node controller to adjust the slope settings for the nodes. Next up, I will be creating a pedestrian crossing for the people in this area to walk over to the pedestrian only commercial zone and also get access to the station area. Sims in this game will walk any amount of distance if you provide access, and this should take some foot traffic off the main junctions around the area. I am going to place an elementary school and a basketball court just to fill up the empty space between the track and our road. Down the line, we might also add a high school. Providing some death care for the area. I know it's not the ideal place for a cemetery to be right next to a school, but we might move it later on. But for now, I'll just keep it here. Now that the area is almost complete, I'll be doing some detailing around the area, which will include placing some pedestrian paths and using surface paint to do some concrete. I'll also be using some trees to fill in the gaps and make the area more green. So let's go into a time lapse. That was quite a long time lapse, but I'm happy with how the area is looking at the moment, and it has a different kind of vibe to it, with lots of people using the pedestrian access to go into the commercial area. Let's now move over to the next area where we'll be using the mid-century pack to build some more residential houses. Because this is quite close to our farming industry and the farming area, I want this to be a laid back kind of residential zone, and that's why I wanted to use the mid-century pack for the area. Now that the road layout is complete, I'll paint a new district, and then under themes I will have to use the mid-century modern pack, and that's how the building spawning will be from that pack itself. While we wait for the buildings to spawn, I will extend the pedestrian path which we had in our previous area over to this area, so that the Sims living in the area can also access that. I think that's the right spot for us to create another pedestrian access into the other side of the track where we have our university area. I like the mid-century building so much that I decided to expand on the area and create roads which took the residential area closer to the cargo station. So let's do that. I created another parking lot for the area and did some detailing off camera. Next up is the time lapse for today's build. I really enjoyed today's build and really like how the area turned out to be. The slow transition between our amusement park area and as we head towards the farming area, the way the buildings change is really fun to watch. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and as with any new creator, I do have heaps to learn, and I would really appreciate if you have any feedback for me. Please leave them in the comment section. If you like the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Till next time, bye bye.